Hello viewers, welcome back to my channel Legal Decipher. In the previous video, we had discussed about the offences affecting unborn child as described in chapter 16 of the Indian Penal Code. If you have not seen that video, you can go and check it. The link is in the description below. In this video, we will discuss about the offence of hurt and its variations along with the types of punishments as described in chapter 16 and understand the substance therein. So if you are new here, please like and subscribe to my channel to get the video notifications. So let's get started. So in this video, we will discuss the terms hurt and grievous hurt and all the other incidents and their punishments that relates to hurt and grievous hurt. So this portion of this chapter relates to hurt. Now section 319 says that hurt is whoever causes bodily pain, disease or infirmity to any person is said to cause hurt. So if any person causes you bodily pain or any disease or any infirmity, then that person is said to commit hurt upon you. So that is as simple as that. It is covered under section 319. Now section 320 talks about grievous hurt. So now things get a little bit complicated. So what is grievous hurt? So as per section 320, if hurt is caused to a person and as a result of such hurt, any of the following incidents happen as a direct result of such hurt that are mentioned in these 8 points. What are they? Let's move on with them. They are firstly emasculation, which basically means castrating or removing the sexual parts or organs of a person or damage them to such extent as to make such person either less effective or totally unable to reproduce. So that is emasculation, and that is the first kind of grievous hurt that a person can cause upon another person. That will fall under section 320. The second and the third kind of grievous hurt is that the permanent privation of the sight of either eye or the hearing of either ear, which means to hurt somebody to such an extent that such person loses the eyesight or hearing capability of any eye or ear permanently. So if a person basically damages the eyesight or the hearing of any eye or ear and he does so permanently, then that person will be suffering grievous hurt under the second or third point of section 320. Now fourthly and fifthly, privation or destruction of any member or joint, which simply means hurting somebody to an extent to make him lose the capability of any bone joint or any limb, or to permanently destroy such bone joint or limb. So if such happens to any person, then that person will be deemed to suffer a grievous hurt. Sixthly, to permanently disfigure the head or face of a person. So if someone permanently disfigures the head or face of another person, then that person will be deemed to suffer grievous hurt, and this person who caused such permanent disfiguration will be thought to have committed the offence of grievous hurt under section 320. Now seventhly, the fracture or dislocation of any bone or tooth. So if a person fractures a bone or dislocates a tooth or a bone, then that person will also be committing a grievous hurt under section 320. And eighthly, that is the last point, it says to hurt a person in such a way that such hurt endangers the life of such person. So either it endangers the life of such person, he has suffered that kind of hurt, or that makes such person suffer severe bodily pain for 20 days. So that kind of hurt inflicted such a bodily pain that it lasted for 20 straight days. So that will also fall under grievous hurt. Or if such person becomes unable to follow ordinary pursuits in life, say for example that person was hurt in such a way that such person was unable to follow his ordinary pursuits in life, which simply means he was unable to follow his daily routine due to such hurt, then that will also fall under the definition of grievous hurt. And in all those cases mentioned in these 8 points, the person will be deemed to have suffered grievous hurt, and the offender who caused it would be deemed to be punishable for committing grievous hurt. Now let's move on to section 321 that talks about voluntarily causing hurt. So if any person has caused hurt and he had the knowledge and the intention to cause such hurt, then that person would be deemed to have committed hurt voluntarily. That means he has voluntarily caused hurt. And section 322 says that voluntarily causing grievous hurt means to cause grievous hurt to a person with the intention and knowledge to do so. So that is what section 321 and 322 says. As simple as that. Now, the explanation says that a person is not said voluntarily to cause grievous hurt except when he both causes grievous hurt and intends or knows himself to be likely to cause grievous hurt. But he is said voluntarily to cause grievous hurt if intending or knowing himself to be likely to cause grievous hurt of one kind, he actually causes grievous hurt of another kind. Now, let's understand this. Say for example, the offender tried to punch a person in his face. So he tried to punch a person in the face of that person. Now he knew that such punch would break his teeth. So he will be breaking his teeth with that punch. So he intended to commit a kind of grievous hurt that is already mentioned in the 7th point of the section 320 if you remember correctly. But he somehow miscalculated the power of the impact of that punch, or it somehow landed in the face of the victim in such an angle or force that it broke the jaw of the victim, and somehow it caused permanent disfiguration of the face of the victim, which is a different kind of grievous hurt that is mentioned in the 6th point of the section 320. So this is just an example to make you understand that what this explanation is talking about. It says that it doesn't matter whether the intended grievous hurt was actually caused or not. If the intention was to cause a kind of a grievous hurt, but some other kind of grievous hurt was caused, then that would also fall under voluntarily causing of grievous hurt. That offender cannot take the plea that he did not intend to cause that kind of grievous hurt, or that he intended to cause a different kind of grievous hurt and actually accidentally caused this one. That won't be a valid plea for him. Now section 323 talks about punishment for voluntarily causing hurt. So if someone voluntarily causes hurt, then he will be punished with imprisonment for a term which may extend to 1 year, or with fine which may extend to 1000 rupees, or with both. And section 325 talks about punishment for voluntarily causing grievous hurt. So whoever voluntarily caused grievous hurt, then that person will be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now comes all the different kinds of hurts and grievous hurts that can be caused. Section 324 talks about voluntarily causing hurt by dangerous weapons or means. So if someone causes hurt by dangerous weapons or means that are mentioned in this section, let's read them. It says this kind of hurt can be inflicted by using an instrument for shooting, stabbing or cutting, or an instrument that can cause death if used as a weapon of offense, or by means of fire or heated substance, generally those that can cause burns or blisters of severe kind, or by means of poison, or by means of corrosive substance that can cause decay, or by means of explosive substance, or by means of any other substance that is deleterious to the human body, which simply means any substance which if you inhale or swallow, or if it gets in your blood, it contaminates in your blood, then in all these cases you will suffer harm or damage, or by means of any animal. So if any such kind of means are used and hurt is caused as an outcome for using such means, then that person, that offender who has caused such voluntarily hurt using these kind of weapons or means, that person will be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 3 years, or with fine, or with both. And if he does the same thing using the same means or weapons, and if he causes grievous hurt, then in that case he will be punished with imprisonment for life, or with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now let's move on to section 326A, that talks about voluntarily causing grievous hurt by use of acid, etc. So this section and section 326B was inserted after the increasing crimes of acid attacks. So this section covers those offences in which acid was used and grievous hurt was caused by using such acid. So it says that whoever causes permanent or partial damage or deformity, or burns or maims or disfigures or disables any part or parts of the body of a person, or causes grievous hurt by throwing acid or administering acid to that person, and by using such other means, if he had the intention and knowledge of causing such injury or hurt, then in all those cases that person who was so administering the acid shall be punished with imprisonment for either description which shall not be less than 10 years but which may extend to imprisonment for life, and with fine. So the punishment will always be somewhere between 10 years to imprisonment for life, and with fine, provided that such fine shall be just and reasonable to meet the medical expenses of the treatment of the victim. So that fine will be recovered and provided to the victim for the treatment and medical expenses caused by such grievous hurt. Provided further that any fine imposed under this section shall be paid to the victim, like I said. Now section 326B talks about voluntarily throwing or attempting to throw acid. So whoever voluntarily throws or attempts to throw acid and does any kind of damage that is mentioned in section 326A, you can read this section. It is identical to that of section 326A, but in this section, voluntarily throwing or attempting to throw acid has been punished with imprisonment for not less than 5 years, but which may extend to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now explanation 1 says, for the purposes of section 326A and this section, that is section 326B, in both these sections, acid includes any substance which has acidic or corrosive character or burning nature. So acid includes all of these substances that is capable of causing bodily injury leading to scars or disfigurement or temporary or permanent disability. So if that substance has all these properties to cause scar or to cause disfigurement or to cause temporary or permanent disability, then that substance, if it is acidic or corrosive in nature or burning in nature, then it will be termed as acid. So explanation 2 says, for the purpose of section 326A and this section, that is section 326B, in both these sections, permanent or partial damage or deformity shall not be required to be irreversible. So it doesn't matter whether that can be reversed back to a natural state or that is permanent or partial in nature. It doesn't matter upon the reversibility of the situation. If permanent or partial damage or deformity has been caused, section 326A and 326B will be applicable. Section 327 talks about voluntarily causing hurt to extort property or to constrain to an illegal act. So if any person causes hurt to any victim to extort property from him or to constrain him to do an illegal act, then this offender will be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 328 talks about causing hurt by means of poison, etc. with intent to commit an offense. So if such person causes hurt by way of administering poison to intend to commit an offense, then that offender will be imprisoned for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 329 talks about voluntarily causing grievous hurt to extort property or to constrain to an illegal act. So what happens if that person causes grievous hurt instead of hurt to extort property or to constrain to illegal act? Then that person will be punished with imprisonment for life or up to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. And if such person causes hurt to extort confession or to compel restoration of property, then under section 330 that offender will be imprisoned for up to 7 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 331 talks about voluntarily causing grievous hurt to extort confession or to compel restoration of property. So what happens if grievous hurt is inflicted to extort confession or to compel restoration of property? Then in that case such offender will be imprisoned for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Now section 332 talks about voluntarily causing hurt to deter public servant from his duty. Now someone is voluntarily causing hurt to a public servant just to deter him from his duty. In that case that offender will be imprisoned for a term which may extend to 3 years or with fine or with both. Section 333 talks about voluntarily causing grievous hurt to deter public servant from his duty. In that case, that offender will be imprisoned for a term which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. Section 334 talks about voluntarily causing hurt on provocation. If some person was provoked and due to such provocation he caused hurt to another person, then in that case he will be imprisoned up to 1 month and he will be fined up to 500 rupees or with both. And if such person had caused grievous hurt for such provocation, then he will be imprisoned for 4 years and with fine up to 2000 rupees or with both. Now explanation says that the last two sections are subject to the same provisos as exception 1 in section 300. Now section 336 talks about act endangering life or personal safety of others. So if a person is committing such an act that would endanger the life or personal safety of other people, then in that case such offender will be punished with imprisonment for up to 3 months or with fine which may extend to 250 rupees or with both. Now section 337 talks about causing hurt by endangering life or personal safety of others. So up to this point that person was only committing an act that endangered the life and personal safety of others. Now due to such act he had actually caused hurt to any person by such act of endangering life or personal safety of others, then in that case he will be imprisoned for 6 months or with fine which may extend to 500 rupees or with both. So in that case he will be punished with imprisonment that may extend to up to 6 months or with fine that may extend up to 500 rupees or with both. And if that person has actually caused grievous hurt by such act, then that will be covered under section 338 and he will be punished with imprisonment that may extend to 2 years or with fine that may extend to 1000 rupees or with both. Now we will move on to the next part in the next video. So that's all in this video. If you like my videos, then don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much for watching this video.